Welcome to part 1 of the Star Trek Voyager Kazon Torpedo build-up. This particular kit is a bit of an oddball, really. It's also a bit of a mystery, because they've designed a kit around a vessel that was in an episode. It was in just one episode of Star Trek, and it had about 53 seconds worth of on-screen time. And for some reason, Monogram decided to build a kit of it. A bit weird, really, if you ask me, why they chose to do that, considering that there was other models within Voyager that could have been built. You know, you had the Equinox that could have been built, or they could have done that as a model kit. You know, you had and I can't remember the name of it now, but you had the ship that Harry Kim was the captain of in the very last episode. You know, that could have been built, for instance, as a kit. But no, they just chose to do this one, which is a bit odd. But never mind. It's a bit quirky, and it's going to be a fun little build, actually. I don't really see this going past sort of 4 or 5 weeks as a build, because it's fairly uncomplicated, really. There are no windows in this, so we haven't really got to worry too much about lighting. The only lighting that we need to do is the little floodlights. There's one on each side, and I do believe there is one on the bottom. Then we've got the thrusters that sit on the rear wings. And then we've got the ion engines at the back that need to be lit up. And that is going to be the root of all the lighting on this kit. So really, apart from that, it's just going to be the paint detailing. What I'm going to do with this is, on the side of the box there, you can actually see the box art. And that kind of... I'm not sure whether that's actually right, to be quite honest, so I'm just going to dig out the episode that this starred in and see what the paint scheme does look like. I mean, I would have thought it was actually closer to this more than anything else. As far as I'm aware, according to the website online, this is a 1/35 scale, but it doesn't actually tell you online, it doesn't actually tell you on this box at all anywhere what scale it is. All it does tell you in a little bit of writing just there is that it's 9.5 centimeters or 9.5 inches or 24.1 centimeters. It's a skill level 2. But yeah, I mean, this box, I mean, obviously, as I say, this kit dates back to 1996. The kit's been bashed about a bit, really, to be quite honest. The box is fairly well damaged, really. But all the kit parts are okay. There is a little bit of rattling around in the box there, but that's because I've taken all the main parts off the sprues just to see kind of what it's going to look like when it's built up. As I say, I can get away with doing it on this one because it's a very uncomplicated build. There's, I think, about 30 parts, including the 2 parts for the stand. So if we just take a look at the parts of the kit, we've got this bit here, which is the underside of the kit. Now, the good thing with this is the fact that there are some really, really good details. And then we've got here the little thrusters. So what I'm going to need to do is hog those out. And on this side, you can see on the opposite side there, we've got enough room to fit an SMD in there. And the outside, I'm going to fill that up with nail acrylic. Just tape it off from the outside, fill it up with nail acrylic on the inside. Then once that's dried, I can then mask those off and paint the underside when it's all put together. These are the 2 sides for the kit, and as you would expect, they look identical. So these are the 2 sides where we've got so we've got one little floodlight that goes in there, so I need to use the 0.25mm fibre optic for that. And then we've also got one on the other side, and then there's also one on the bottom as well. But the weird thing is, if you put that one in at the bottom, all that's going to do is just reflect off of that bit there. But we put it in just for the sheer hell of it more than anything else. This is the top side of the kit. The engines would fit on that part there. There are no thruster assemblies on the top of this, but we do have quite a lot of greeblies on there to put in, which is quite good. This is just a few of the parts that go on, and that's just part of one of the engines there. I mean, I've taken those off as well just to have a look at those. And then we got like a little radiator there, and then that's the nose cone that fits on the front, and that's just a little hatch cover. Let's have a look on this one. So we got part of the stand there. We've got two of the rear wings. They would, I think, sit somewhere around this area here. Sorry, excuse me. Oh, sorry, just around that side there. And we've got a few little greebly bits that go in around the place. On this side, we've got the two little wings there as well. You can see it comes in two halves. And then these parts here are the internal supports. They fit, one goes just there and the other one goes just there. So that's those bits. On this side we have the two main wings, and we've got a little light, a thruster there and a thruster there, so we can put those in as well, and they would correspond with these two there. And then we got another couple of little greebly bits in there, and then we've got the bottom half of the stand, and then if I can get this out, this basically is the two halves of one of the engines. Let's see if we can get the right side for that. I think it's this side, that's it. If we can just quickly get that together. My fingers will cooperate, there we go. So that's what one of the engines look like. So what I'm going to do inside there is I'm going to put one of those little UV purple LEDs in there for the engine effect, because as far as I'm aware they are meant to be a purple. For the lighting, for the wires, all I do is I just drill out these parts here. They will fit directly into these parts here. And I am going to be using the wrapping wire for these as well, so that's quite thin, so you know that caused minimal amount of work really for that. And then the most complicated part of this kit really is those. You can see how complicated the decals are going to be. So yeah, that's about it really, I do believe, for this kit. As I say, I can't really see this build going past the 5-week stage, because I'm going to need minimal light blocking in this kit really. As I say, the lights for the 3 floodlights that come off of one LED, and that will be wrapped in heat shrink as well, so that will act as the light block for those. So the only areas that I'm really going to need to concentrate on for the light blocking is just these little areas around here for the thruster ports, and also on the inside of the engines. And that really, to be quite honest, is about all of the light blocking that I'm going to need to do. As I say, it's not a complicated kit to build at all, this one. But just to give you some sort of idea of the size of this kit, that's about it really. So let's just see if we can, it's a bit fiddly to try and get the sides in on this, I think. Yeah, so I'm going to have to try and hold that in place. But yeah, that's kind of about it. You've obviously got the gap there where the wing goes in or something. But yeah, that is really about it. So there you go. And the instructions again, these are the little monogram ones, and as you can see there, Copyright 1996. If anybody wants to know the kit number, it's 3608. But the instructions, I think there's only 8 stages to this particular build, and that's the first stage. As I say, the most complicated part of this really is just going to be able to hogging out all of the thrusters and drilling out the holes for the floodlights, and that's really, as I say, just about as complicated as this kit is going to get. So there's not really a lot to it really, but the instructions, I mean, are fairly good really. They do leave a good amount of detail on there, so that's good. For this particular kit, again, I'm not going to use the kit supplied stand. I will keep it, as I always do, keep the stands, because that might come in handy for something else. If I decide to do a scratch build or something, you know. So I'm not going to build a stand out of MDF either, because this model's a bit too small really to start going into building stands for it. But I do have the small polar light stand in the bird of prey kit that I'm going to build eventually, that's going to sit on a diorama, so I won't need the stand for that. So I'll use that little polar light stand for this kit instead. So that's about it really. I'll leave it at that, and I will catch up with you in part 2, where hopefully most of this kit will be in one piece. So until then, thanks for watching, and please do take care.